So I guess the next part that I was wanted to sort of mention and touch on was using your knife. Doesn't matter what size, whatever you've got. That's what counts. And how you hold it, how you use it. And something that Lynn Thompson said in an interview that I seen of his was he was talking about the statistics and how if you've got most knives when used, you only end up with about half of the actual blade's length as a cutting surface. So if you've got a 4-inch knife, most cuts are only going to be 2 inches, or only 2 inches of the blade has been used, because people will be defending themselves. However, whether they're attacking back or whether they're just putting their arms up, someone might come for an overhand chop, but you get your hand up and you only get like the tip of the knife come into your shoulder or into your cheek or something like that, into your face. So that's why he said he's made a lot of his knives large, because they are self-defense sort of knives. So you want to, by having a 6-inch blade on a extra large folder, there's more chances of you're going to get 3 inches of cutting surface. So depending on where you live in the world, say somewhere like a prime example, Australia, where you're not allowed to defend yourself, you're not allowed to be armed in public, you're not allowed to open carry, you're not allowed to conceal carry, you're not allowed none of that. The chances of if you defend yourself with a knife in this country and you're in public, you're almost certainly going to jail. If you defend yourself inside your home with a knife, you're certainly pretty much going to jail. So we've got it skewed against the average person. The law doesn't like us, they have no respect for us. The law is all about looking after the crim, okay? And people can go, that's not right, but it fucking is, okay? You're only allowed to use reasonable force, not equal force. It used to be equal force, but in 1996, when they banned the guns, they also took away the equal force and made it reasonable force. Now, I've asked a copper what reasonable force is, and he said punching or striking without causing any grievous bodily harm. And when I said what's grievous bodily harm, he said anything more than a bloody lip or a bloody nose. So if you inflict more than grievous bodily harm, more than we'll say a broken nose, a bloody lip, they will charge you, the attacker. He doesn't have to charge you, the police will charge you, and now you're dragged into a court, and you've got to defend yourself and spend tens of thousands of dollars on filthy lying grub lawyers and solicitors and barristers to stop you from going to jail because some prick wanted to get you. Okay, so that's a whole nother subject, but not really, because it means that if you are going to be everyday carrying, not for defense, but for everyday purposes where you might need a blade, whether that's to rescue somebody from a vehicle that's been a crashed vehicle that's on fire or something like that. I've been in situations where I've had to cut off the motorbike helmet, the strap of a motorbike helmet from someone who's crashed their vehicle. I've seen a dog. I've been on the scene where a dog's hanging off the side of a ute by rope tied around his neck, and we couldn't undo the rope because the dog's been hanging for so long while the car's been driving that the knots tightened up that much that we could only cut the rope. That was the only option to save the dog from suffocating. So you have to have a genuine reason why you carry, and you're still not allowed to. It's just the difference between maybe you going to jail and not. So, and then obviously where I live, it's really hot. This is in the middle of winter right now, so I'm just wearing a singlet and a light pair of shorts. In summertime, most people will be wearing singlets and light shorts, and a lot of the time no t-shirt and light shorts. So everyday carrying isn't a big thing over here, but I guarantee you the Crims are. The Crims are all carrying. All the shit people, they are carrying. So when good men stand by and do nothing, it allows shit people to flourish. So if you want to be a good man and take a bit of responsibility, I'm not telling you to do nothing, but if you read between the lines, you do whatever you got to do. And if that means having something that's not easily seen, because you're not allowed to, that means usually something small, something lightweight. And that's why a lot over and over again you'll see me talking about small, lightweight, easy to hide, because you got to hide it somewhere where it can't be seen. It's got to be small enough. Most of us don't wear belts and things like that because it's too hot, so we don't want to be carrying a lot of stuff. Usually we've just got a keys, wallet and phone, and that's it. So so on that regard, you have to have something that folds up, easy to conceal, easy to hide. So that generally means a pocket knife. So we're talking 3-inch blades, 4-inch blades, sort of max. So that's why I like the cold steel ones. They're strong and robust. The triad lock isn't something that's going to fail on you. Of course, everything can, but generally they're pretty good. They are orientated in the self-defense sort of style of knife, although a lot of them, if you look, you can find a general purpose one, and that'll do your skinning, game prep, maybe food cutting and things like that, but they tend to be bigger, heavier sort of knives. So I like to go smaller. When I'm looking for something, I'm looking for something that's relatively small, thin, so it doesn't footprint or doesn't print on your while you're carrying in your pocket. It doesn't weigh down anything, and ideally you want it light enough so you can do whatever tasks you need to do. If you're in the shops and you're reaching up for something, you don't want your shirt to lift and it be visible, and then, oh my god, there's a terrorist in the shops, you know. So so that's what a lot of my stuff's based around. All the big knife and all this sort of stuff, and doing the fencing and all that's just for fun. That's just historical, you know. I'm half Scottish, Jim Bowie Scottish, so I've got an interest in warfare, in weaponry and all that sort of stuff. Everything, you know, human beings have been going to war forever. We've been killing each other since day dot. Anyone who, oh, you're violent, they're just wankers. We've only lived in it's not even a peaceful world. People just watch the news too much and think, oh, love Kardashians and all this bullshit. Reality is we live in a cruel, nasty world, and it's better to be prepared for a cruel and nasty situation and not need it than have no idea and just be a sheep at the slaughter. So standing behind your knife, doesn't matter what size it is, this is your shield, this is also your attack. So a couple of things that I kind of got from the Bowie fighting or the fencing sort of style is having very similar to like a boxing stance, but just the other way around, depending on which is your strong hand. If your strong hand is your right hand, like me, orthodox, you want your strong hand forward. You want your knife in your strong hand. That's the one that's going to have the most, not only strength, but it's going to have the best hand-to-eye coordination, and you use it all the time, so things are going to happen naturally with this one. This one is, yes, it's here for feinting. You can still feint with it. You can still strike or whatever you want, lunge or whatever or attack with this knife, or defend, if that's the word you want to use, with your right hand and your knife. But you can still left hook, you know. Probably wouldn't risk a body shot. If you see maybe a liver shot, yeah, you could do that, but you could definitely, while you're tangled up with this side, and if you can draw the opponent's right hand over the left side of their body, and there's a free shot, bang, whether it's a straight left or a left hook, why not do it, you know. Same with your leg kicks. If there's this is where the defender or the good guy becomes an opportunist. We take whatever opportunities available. Ideally you want to I think anyway, you want to defang the snake, and I believe cutting is probably a safer way to go if you don't want to spend too much time in jail. If you can cut and just end a fight, there's probably a chance that you're going to get off on lighter charges. You might do 8 months to 3 years, rather than if you just poke someone, get charged for murder, may get dropped down to manslaughter, but by a stabbing attack, pretty much the prosecution's going to say that you tried to kill them or you intended to kill them. If you can just chop them down and slow them down by slashing tendons, destroying their ability to stand, taking out the tendons over the knee, etc., etc., multiple slashes on the legs, hands, etc., and you can stop them from fighting. Now you can actually argue in court that you had no intention to hurt anybody. All you wanted to do was end the dangerous situation and call the police.